Hello everyone, my name is Dominic. We're here back at again. Marks of the announce table. We got Uncle John here, Brian Malone, who just jumped right in. We got Miguel, and we got K Mullins Incorporated. Let's get right in here. It is SmackDown versus Raw 2016. It is the second week. Of course, let's talk about Raw first. We'll go to SmackDown. SmackDown just occurred, so it's fresh in our mind. But let's, rekindle our fire of Monday Night Raw. Think how the Red Show really performed this week, and we'll just go right into it. Starting off, I really liked how it started off with Sasha Banks and Charlotte. I was really worried at first because I didn't know how they were gonna pursue it. I didn't know where exactly it was going to go, especially when Jericho came out. I had no idea. For you guys, it might have been different.
Really confusing at that point.
Yeah, and then when Enzo came out, I was like, huh, they're going to have Enzo do his own thing, and I'm like, that's crazy. Especially, I really like the back and forth with Enzo and Sasha Banks. It's real nice. How you doing? Then we had Jericho and Charlotte. Of course, you can't forget how Sasha Banks reiterated to us how Charlotte was, of course, a one-night stand baby of Ric Flair's. Then
Can I just say the line of the night for the line of the night though?
Sure, go for it.
Line of the night was when Jericho's like, "You got to think before you speak" to Enzo, and Enzo's like, "Think before I speak? That's like wiping my ass before I poop."
Beautiful. I also remember that during the whole flirting of Sasha Banks and Enzo Amore, we had Chris Jericho who was saying that his love life was just like his slogan, soft. I was like, oh. I was like, there's some major heat going back and forth between all of them. Of course, we had a tag team match play, an intergender tag team match, which of course we never see. So, what did you guys think of that match? I thought the match was pretty decent.
It was decent for an intergender tag, which you never expect a lot of those matches, but it was decent for that. It was pretty good for that one of those.
Yeah. Any other things you want to comment about that before we go into the next big thing?
I do want them to stick with this. I think Sasha and Enzo have very good chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they should definitely stick with this as a potential thing.
Mm-hmm. Especially because it could have been a good way to really put a detour on Big Cass and Enzo, and they could have done Big Cass and Rusev, I felt like, but Roman and Rusev, we'll get to that. I know we're kind of probably have separate opinions on that, but let's talk about Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. Oh my gosh, that was really good between the two of them going back and forth. I didn't like how Finn Balor with the block, attack, kick, the combo, I didn't like that. I thought, maybe that was when we saw, Bloody Sunday or whatever he's calling it. I'm trying to think, what does he call it? It's not Bloody Sunday anymore.
The Brain Buster?
Yeah.
No, the kick that he hit?
No.
No, the Brain Buster.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Does he still call it Bloody Sunday?
No, I don't think so.
I don't even know.
I was gonna say I don't think there's an actual name for it. At least not a proper name.
Yeah, I know the Tour de Grace. He couldn't have hit it, especially because I think that's a big thing we have to build towards to see, on Seth Rollins. In my opinion, we have to see the big Tour de Grace on Seth Rollins, even if it's not a straight 3 count. But anyways, I thought it was pretty good. Definitely hyping up this Universal Championship BS, adding a new title, because why not? Monday Night Raw.
I just hope it doesn't come out looking stupid.
Yeah.
Just please don't make that title look stupid. The name's already stupid enough.
They probably will.
Yeah. I really feel sorry for Mark Henry, by the way. I feel like he really got the short stick on this because
Mark Henry with the jobber card.
Yeah. Like, if you had to pick between Corey Hollis, who they changed his name 3 times already, by the way, in case you're wondering who that local jobber was, I knew him also. I didn't know him as personally as Jimmy Dream, James Ellsworth, as you all now know him as. But in terms of the whole Braun Strowman thing, I'm okay with it. I'm more okay with the Braun Strowman thing than the Nia Jax thing, because I still think that
Nia Jax,
There's
that dude can wrestle.
There's still a good bit of females that Nia Jax could be facing, not just jobbing her and jobbing to her and Braun, which is kind of it's really a waste of 2 minutes, kind of, but I guess it keeps them fresh in our minds. But anyways, back to Mark Henry, the other big guy in the room, getting the short stick on this situation with Rusev, of course, getting the win, because why not? Free title.
Because why would you hand the U.S. title to Mark Henry?
Also, the big thing about this new era, have you noticed there's a lot of just random title shots all over the place?
Yeah.
Like there's random feuds too. Like they're already jumping into this whole like, hey, you guys are on the same brand now. You know what? We're just gonna throw you two together.
Yeah. Roman
Especially since
and
the draft is so new, they need to come up with storylines, and with SummerSlam
it's really close.
close, they don't have.
And the fact that they have after SummerSlam, they have 2 pay-per-views every month except for 4 months of the year.
Roman and Rusev. What are your thoughts on this? I'm for the most part, I'm kind of.
WWE's just trying to tick everyone in the whole fan base off by like dropping hints at a certain Olympic gold medalist.
I really think, yeah, if WWE is holding this fight against Roman, maybe this is where Rusev beats Roman, and that'd be crazy, alright? Like, Rusev beating Roman.
That would be huge for Rusev. That would be huge.
So Rusev beats Roman, and then you continue the thing. Maybe we could see Rusev actually, hold the U.S. title up until Kurt Angle returns. Or even, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe like a big Mania return, or maybe a Survivor Series return.
Yeah.
I would say Survivor Series, not Mania. Mania would be way too long, I feel.
Well, the thing about Survivor Series is it's not even in the U.S., so I don't know if Kurt Angle would get as big of a pop outside the U.S.
Where's it at?
It's in Toronto.
No, because he's the U.S. hero. So, I mean, he would get a good pop in the UK, but I don't think Canada.
That is when Curtis Strong will debut
Yes.
at Survivor Series.
Curtis Strong
Yes.
will debut.
Yes. Not Kurt Angle, Curtis Strong. Look him up, ladies and
There's your
gentlemen.
shout out, Hendrikus.
There's your shout out, local
Superstar
Canadian
coming
wrestler.
back,
Yeah.
and his name is Kurt. Everyone's all hyped thinking of Kurt Angle out of nowhere. Curtis Strong
Kurt is
Comes out of the crowd.
local jobber.
the local jobber, Curtis Strong.
He'll be the next one to be fed to Braun Strowman or Nia Jax or both. All right, next up, let's talk about. All right, actually, I gotta get the list up because I'm trying to
They could
remember.
do a love angle with Braun Strowman and Nia Jax. Just imagine that
New
child.
Day. Goodness, New Day is just so.
No Sonny Boy this week.
No Sonny Boy. However, if you noticed with the oranges and the banana, was I the one that noticed what they did there?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, with that, I don't like how the club lost really fast. Maybe because the club's kind of like gonna win the titles, so that's why. Getting Big E injured is like, all right, now it's making more sense of them dropping the titles and everything.
Of them dropping New Day in general, Big E could come. If Big E either he could stay away for a month or maybe 2, get a new character. Boom, he's back as the old Big E Langston.
I don't know. I really hope they don't split up New Day this early into the draft.
No, I'm not talking about splitting up New Day as a whole. I'm talking about maybe dropping the whole New Day thing and maybe just Xavier and Kofi working together. I feel like Big E could go out on his own.
Yeah, and this could be a good Big E heel turn or something like that, and be like, "You weren't there for me when I was injured," or something stupid like that. Make him more. It's kind of hard to make.
You didn't give me enough hugs or play me the trombone.
Yeah, we didn't have enough bootios. I think it's weird though, because if you have a guy who's so over as a goofy babyface and you make him a heel, it's just very awkward to see him do that transformation unless he is returning from injury, which I think if he returns from injury, it'd have to be like a big 3-month thing or some build up. It couldn't just be like 2 weeks.
Like he'd have to be out till May. He'd have to be out till October, November.
Yeah, he'd have to be at like a ridiculous amount of time, maybe even like Rumble time. I don't think they do that because of course it's not.
Yeah, you can't keep a guy out that long, especially if he's not legitimately hurt. That'd be stupid to keep a guy out that long.
So I thought this Raw was a little underwhelming during the middle of it. The first hour, was pretty strong, I would say. The middle hour very underwhelming, and then the last hour.
Calmed it down again.
The last hour I felt was like somewhat underwhelming, but it's the fact of
The last hour was one of those that it started off very underwhelming and it built its way up, and it finally at the very end
it just
hit
exploded.
the peak.
Yeah.
It hit the peak.
The local jobber when he got interviewed, and he's like, "I'm here because I get $1,000, and if I win, I get $5,000."
Oh, he's the greatest.
That was one of the lines of the night too.
Yeah, Corey Hollis is the greatest. If you don't know who that is, straight up.
Look him up.
Look him up. Look him up. I'm trying to see. Was there anything about the Hype Bros at all?
No, the Hype Bros are on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, I don't know why I thought of them. Oh, okay, I had.
Thought of Rusev.
No,
I had it back
you
in
had
the
more
queue.
Golden Truth and little Shining Stars though,
That's what it was.
and more Pokemon Go.
That's what it was. I don't know why I got Hype Bros and Golden Truth mixed up this week. But Golden Truth, of course, playing Pokemon Go, it was pretty good. I don't like how they're losing.
Are they gonna split them up already
No,
after that
they're not.
huge build up?
Nah, they won't split them up because they're too good together for each other. I think in the end, they'll never be serious, which is sad. But anyways, how about that Shining Stars push finally coming in, right? That's right.
Yeah, they're actually not fighting like originally how they were fighting just jobber like local talents.
Yeah.
It only took how long?
Maybe a month. Anyways, the big thing of Raw to close it off, because I don't think there's really anything else too big to mention in my opinion.
Nothing that's really worth it, and like.
Yeah, I know
I can't think.
the main event was Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn. Of course, Kevin Owens bashing Byron Saxton on commentary was great for the first hour. However, and apparently but Kevin Owens is going to be teaming with Jericho. That's cool. That's cool. But in terms of the big main event, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn didn't disappoint at all. Of course, it wouldn't. I wish we could have saw more Finn Balor, but hey, why not? The big thing though, how we closed the show, was Brock and Paul Heyman. Of course, there's been big speculation over weeks of if Paul's going to be with him and this, that, everywhere. In the end, I guess they did come to a conclusion.
I was gonna say I've yet to see that there's been an agreement reached, so it must be like a handshake agreement, and Paul's gonna walk away with a lot of money after SummerSlam.
Who knows? Especially because if you think about it, the whole aspect of he showed up on SmackDown too. Now it could have been him on his own. It could have been something else. Who knows? But in terms of this main event closing segment with Brock and Paul, I thought it was great. I think it was better than last week's ending. Yeah, I would say it's probably better than last week's ending. The show was not better than last week, however. I would say that this week's show was not as good, but I would say the ending was better because that RK Out of Nowhere was great. Especially because it really heightens the whole Raw versus SmackDown without actually making it Raw versus SmackDown.
I was worried about the hype of this match.
Yes.
And it's definitely kicked it up a notch this week.
Yeah, especially because they're invading each other's shows.
Out of nowhere.
So, and if you think about it, when we get to SmackDown, of course, they're going to have a much harder time trying to control the beast that is Brock Lesnar. Whereas Randy Orton, I feel like they could definitely try their hardest to actually prevent him. I think it'd be cool to see like some really sneaky stuff with Randy Orton. Of course, the security guards, if there's enough of them, they could take him, whereas Brock could just mow through security guards.
SmackDown has some great security though.
SmackDown is great. That's why it's the B show, but it's really the A show this week, in my opinion. All right. As for Randy Orton, with what I was saying is, I think for Randy Orton, they should do some, somewhat when he was feuding Triple H-esque stuff. I'm not saying go to Brock's house and strip attack him or anything like that, or Brock attack Orton at his house,
No,
but
he needs to go to their house and RKO Sable.
oh, Oh,
He needs to go give an RKO to Sable.
oh, and then Brock comes in smashes through the window like a Hulk smashed through the window and attacks.
He needs to
Orton.
go like attack Bob Orton Sr.
Oh my gosh, with the cowbell. What would you guys rate Raw this week? I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a solid 8, in my opinion. 8. 8 Nia Jax non-leg drops of sadness.
That dude can wrestle.
So, Mullins, you go first.
I'm gonna have to go. Maybe an 8.5. It was very compared to last week. It was very underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still a good enough episode that like it hyped up everything for their pay-per-view that's coming up at the end of the month, SummerSlam, which is what you want to do. It's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Mm-hmm. Miguel. All right, guess Miguel's not here. Uncle John.
Yes, sir.
How many Roman Reigns title matches would you give it?
How many
Roman
reigns
Reigns.
does he have?
You're gonna give it a 3.
I mean,
Well,
You're
no,
gonna give this a 3.
wait a minute.
The only reason why I'm giving it
Actually-
that low was because I was outside doing some yard work yet again, so I didn't see the whole thing.
All right.
Ouch.
Ariana,
Yeah.
you there?
She said she's not in this review.
All right. Well, you can bank on that. All right, Malin.
Yep.
How many Cesaro might be getting involved with the Roman and Rusev love triangle after beating up my guy Sheamus? Would you give it?
I would definitely. I would say 7, honestly.
All right, it seems fair. On the SmackDown now. SmackDown starts off. You know, they're talking about the whole Brock situation, how they're going to control the Beast, and it's inevitable that Brock is going to show up on SmackDown because, hey, it's pro wrestling, right? And it happened.
Kane was trying to pretend like he was mad at Orton for what he did on Monday.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt will get another shot and will face Dolph Ziggler at the main event for the number one contendership on the line. All right. But let's talk about American Alpha. Who was it that American Alpha was speculated to first debut against, actually? There's
The boys.
The boys.
The Tate twins, the
yeah,
boys.
Yeah. However, I think facing the Vaudevillains was a better choice because it helped out the Vaudevillains because the Vaudevillains have been needing help, in my opinion. If they would have done Ascension, I think that would have been great too, but I think the Vaudevillains was a great choice because I think there's definitely more to help out with that team compared to the Ascension, which I can't even remember.
Ascension's probably dead.
I can't
Ascension-
even remember. Are they on Raw or SmackDown?
No, they're on SmackDown,
Yeah.
but they're basically like they're not even on SmackDown. They're just there.
Yeah.
See,
Um,
something I feel
Mhm.
is that I feel like they maybe were gonna go with the boys at first, but I feel like they switched it to the Vaudevillains
Mhm.
because of how many local talents they've been doing recently. With the whole Nina Jax, the whole Braun Strowman, it's just getting really old.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, like, I had somebody said something. I remember I saw on social media that something happened with with a family member of the Tate twins, who is the boys, and that's the only reason they didn't appear. I don't know if it was because of that, or if it was because of like what Brian's saying. This whole local talent thing can only go so far.
Mm-hmm. Becky Lynch and Eva Marie, which wasn't even a match because Eva had a leg injury. What?
Eva's entrance was the match.
Yeah, that was. I think her entrance was much longer than the actual, segment of the match or whatever that was.
That entrance is so over though.
It's more over than she is, which is messed up. Kalisto, Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews. I kind of went in reverse there because I want to talk about the low point of that real quick. But Kalisto, Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews. I thought that was great. I thought, in my opinion, I thought Baron Corbin was the guy who, even though him and The Miz wouldn't have been as good as Apollo Crews probably, or even Kalisto. It seemed more that Baron Corbin really deserved this, but Apollo Crews, I think he's getting a lot of shots from D-Bry and Shane, as you can tell. Like, you can really tell that, in my opinion.
I could see Apollo Crews taking on almost like a one-man APA gimmick
Mhm.
of like, here, give me money and I'll attack somebody for you.
If he was turned heel, I guess. But Apollo Crews, of course.
No, I mean Baron Corbin. I'm sorry.
Oh, Baron Corbin. Yeah, I think Baron Corbin definitely, because I think he really was. He was awesome. He was awesome, especially with the end of days on Miz after the ending when he was angry. It's sad. Kalisto kind of took the back seat. It's okay though. Apollo Crews, without a doubt, Apollo Crews is probably gonna win the IC title. If he doesn't, I'm gonna be surprised actually.
The announcers hyped him up so much. Like it was it was obvious that he was going to win this match just because of the way the announcers just hyped the hell out of him.
Yeah. Backstage, there's a quick thing with Rhino and Goring, Heath Slater, because Heath Slater still wants a contract. I'm gonna be
Heath Slater versus Rhino next week.
I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna say Heath Slater's gonna win. That's a really bold statement, by the way.
That is a bold
That
statement.
is a bold
usually
statement.
WWE likes to ride with things that are funny.
Yeah.
Like remember how many weeks in a row that he got jumped by legends?
Yeah. There's not too many returning people left, right? I mean, we got the big rumored Kurt Hawkins, Shelton Benjamin, and then anybody on Raw?
That's what Hawkins was rumored to be there tonight. Like he was rumored to be in the building tonight. Like I thought that was who attacked him before I saw it was Rhino.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was him. And I looked again. I was like, no, that's not him.
Yeah, I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna say this is where, I'm gonna be real bold. I'm gonna say this is where Heath Slater is gonna get the win. Fingers crossed. This will be good. Hopefully, I don't know. Probably not, but
Probably not.
yeah. It's okay. It's just a wish. It's just a wish, guys. It's not actually. All right. AJ Styles and Cena, they have a fantastic back and forth. Of course, it leads to their whole match at SummerSlam. I'm waiting for the match where it's going to be like my career versus yours, and then that's when we see Cena go on his way to do his own thing. Because I think that's the inevitable. Is that Cena, he can't be.
Cena's the next Rock.
Yeah, I think in a different form, but yes, completely.
Yeah, in a different. Well, he's the next one to move on and hit because he'll have plenty of opportunities after he retires.
Yes,
from active like everyday in ring competition.
And he'll definitely come back for the manias or the crazy one night appearances, but
or like, hey, we got an angle for you to run.
Yeah,
He's never gonna actually be gone.
Scott Steiner's coming.
Scott Steiner's coming. He's coming back. Plot twist, guys. It's actually Scott Steiner returning Monday for the next Heath Slater segment.
That was Malin hyping Scott Steiner's return.
So I'm really big on this Cena and AJ thing. Even though it's gonna be another time they faced, I just can't get enough of it. I think this is gonna be.
You can tell they have so much fun promoing with each other in the ring. You can tell.
Yeah,
they just have so much fun.
It's almost like Cena and Orton level of fun. You can tell. Speaking of that segue, Orton and Fandango. Why did it happen? Because Brock's gonna interfere and give you an F5, and then he's gonna walk out and he's gonna be like. With
Dude, it was that massive security, that fierce security forced him out of here.
They did nothing. They did nothing at all.
That security was the worst force of all time. I think they just picked about maybe 30 guys from the crowd and said, "Hey, you want to be on SmackDown tonight?"
Yeah.
This is something that I think.
Shoot. Bang.
I like Fandango in the ring.
Yeah.
Recently, who they put him up against, he's been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
For being a squash match, I really enjoyed their match.
Yeah. I love thumbs up for the whole Sports Center looking interview segment they have with Renee Young and people. That's really good. Carmella got beat up by Natalya. Carmella's not really getting over. Carmella's not really getting over, which is sad. And then
that moonwalk though.
Yeah, she's decent on the microphone. I just think splitting her up with Big Cass and Enzo might have not been the way to go in my opinion. But still, especially because let's think about it. Okay, you're gonna split her up from Big Cass. That's a relationship right there, right? Am I wrong? They're dating, right?
That's a relationship. Yeah, they're dating. They're in real life dating.
Yes.
That is a relationship.
Yes.
Aw, dang it. That means I won't get my dream of Ryder and her.
As for As for Enzo, being a part that also clicks with the three of them working together. The women's championship is on Raw. And if you want to build her as a women's wrestler, build her on
Why
Raw.
not put her on that?
And
yeah.
you should have put Nia Jax on SmackDown and give the 2-minute squash matches also on SmackDown as filler, as like complete filler. Because
so instead of having 2 squash matches on Raw.
Yeah, because we had a dumb little Eva Marie and Becky Lynch thing, which was dumb as all get out. Then we had the Carmella and Natalya thing. There's your 2.
Which again wasn't match.
Yeah, there's your 2 dumb replacement female.
That's 6 minutes of the 2-hour show.
Yeah, they
devoted to women's matches that aren't women's matches.
Yeah. So whatever with that, my little side rant to what they should have done with Nia Jax and Carmella. Anyways, Bray Wyatt, Dolph Ziggler, pretty great. I thought for a second Bray was gonna win, and then just Dolph super kick is now actually a finisher again. Yay!
I don't get this finish.
So
I don't.
Dolph hits Bray on the side of the exposed turnbuckle that Bray opened up, and then Dolph opened up more. There's no blood, guys, calm down. And then a super kick, 1, 2, 3. Dean stands on top of the table. He's like, I am champion. And then Dolph gets beat up by Eric Rowan. And then Dean comes in for the save, gets beat up by Bray Wyatt. And then, of course, Bray Wyatt does the Sister Abigail on Dolph, and then he stands there and he's like, follow the buzzards. End of SmackDown. I'm gonna say the ending of SmackDown is interesting because it's the Wyatt family doing some stuff against the 2 guys who are gonna fight each other for the title, which is really weird. But
I feel like they're gonna try and throw Bray into that match and make it a triple threat.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna have do a massive like promotional push of himself.
Yeah,
to get into that match as a triple threat.
So that will be really interesting to see how he.
I just find it funny that like literally like the whole like night and the whole like since when they were making their entrances for this match, we were just raving about the fact that they were letting Bray do his own thing without the family and whatnot. And then lo and behold, there's Eric Rowan.
So I think SmackDown had the better show, but the better ending goes to Raw. The better
ending was Raw. Better show.
Better beginning goes to Raw too. But I think the better show for SmackDown, especially because they really want to keep you entertained over 2 hours. Especially, I guess it is good that they do the little dumb stuff with the Diva, like all the Diva. Like there was no Divas match. It was just they tried to have 2 Divas.
It was 2 Divas like debacles.
Yeah. Which I guess was a good filler on time because it just you went from something big to something small. But if you like to think about it like this way, Carmella technically would have been the co-main event. Anyways, what would you guys give SmackDown? Malin, you there?
Yep.
How many gores?
Honestly, I'd give it an 8.
All right. Colt Cabana.
Yes.
How many floating Colt Cabana heads would you give it?
I would give, if it's just the hats, the 9.
Head.
But the show was an 8.
The floating Colt Cabana heads that we see.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Miguel, you there?
I'm pretty
No?
sure they sell them.
Maybe. Not. Uncle John. Okay. Mullins.
What's up?
How many RKOs out of nowhere?
RKO's on the top flight security we have for SmackDown
Yes.
tonight. I'm gonna have to say, I honestly liked SmackDown tonight. Every moment of it. Again, I'm gonna like. I don't know if I'd quite give it a 10. I gave it last week, so I'm gonna go 9.5. Wasn't as good as last week, but it was still overall this week.
Mm-hmm. SmackDown, I would say it's better. I wouldn't say it was too much better. So I'm going to give it an 8.5. AJ Styles with his soccer mom hair. Pretty good. My opinion, I'm going to say SmackDown won this week. What do you guys think? SmackDown, Raw. Closing thoughts. SmackDown. All right.
This is 1-1 now on the whole scorekeeper, but after this week.
All right.
Funny, Brock had more action on SmackDown than.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think he might have had more. No, I don't think he had more time. But all right, Team SmackDown, your vote this week, everybody.